You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
If there's one thing that defines the tech world right now, it is just whiplash.
Whiplash is a good word for it.
Yeah, the goalposts don't just move, they kind of get vaporized and replaced with something totally new every, 6 months?
It feels like that, yeah.
It feels like you're trying to navigate San Francisco in a self-driving car, but the map you have is from 1849. Everything looks familiar, but nothing is the same.
And it's that sheer speed of the change that's catching everyone off guard. I mean, the old playbooks for founders,
Yep.
they're already history.
Absolutely. So that's what we want to do today. We've pulled together some essential knowledge from, the trenches, founders who are actually shipping, people funding the future.
And some hard-won lessons from failure, too.
Exactly. So if you're building or investing, or you're just really curious about where things are heading, we want to try and identify the new patterns you need to recognize to, thrive.
And that pattern recognition, it has to start with AI. It's not just another tool. For a lot of companies, it's an existential threat.
Okay, let's unpack that. A good place to start is the war that LLMs, large language models, are waging on traditional marketplaces.
Right.
For years, big tech tried to chip away at them, with better search results. But now we have ChatGPT. What makes this so different?
It's about the depth of penetration. I mean, Google always tried to send traffic to the marketplace. It was like a very sophisticated usher.
A guide, yeah.
Exactly. But an LLM, it can understand what you actually want, your intent, way better than a keyword search. And then, and this is the key thing, it can transact for you.
So it's not just finding me a plumber, it's negotiating the rate and scheduling the job for me?
Precisely. Maybe even handling the payment. OpenAI is going straight for the profit pool that those marketplaces rely on. It's pushing way deeper into the stack.
So for an established company, this looks less like a competitor and more like a utility that's just designed to cut them out entirely.
That's the threat.
And this is where it gets really wild, right? When you look at the cost of building something new, I've heard this called software's YouTube moment.
It's a fantastic analogy. It really is. It speaks to this democratization of capability.
How so?
Well, think back to 2005. YouTube didn't seem to fill some obvious gap, but it just exploded because it made video creation and distribution available to everyone.
Right.
The same thing is happening with software. Before LLMs, most good ideas they died on the vine. The technical barrier, the time commitment, it was just too high.
I saw a stat on this that was just mind-blowing. The time from idea to a working app has been squeezed from, weeks or months down to just hours.
Exactly. So the market for who can build has exploded. You don't need to be, interested in software anymore. You just need to be interested in solving a good problem.
Which means your competition can now come from literally anywhere.
Anywhere. And speaking of competition, the big AI players are going straight for the high-value sectors. I mean, look at health tech.
It's a major battleground now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
OpenAI has ChatGPT Health. Anthropic is pushing Claude for healthcare. They are rapidly raising the bar for what's possible.
So for a smaller health tech startup, what does that mean?
It means the baseline for sophistication just went way, way up. And it probably signals a lot more M&A activity coming down the pipe.
Okay, so if the cost of building is basically zero and the foundational models are available to everyone, what's the new competitive advantage? What's the moat?
The moat has completely shifted. It's moving away from the code itself. It's moving towards something that's less tangible, but much harder to copy.
Which is context. Context, explain that. If two teams are using the exact same model, GPT-4 or whatever, shouldn't they get the same results?
Logically, you'd think so, but no. The difference is the context you provide the model. It's the structured, tailored knowledge that guides it.
So it's not just raw data.
No, think of it like a proprietary knowledge graph. You're telling the model, here is the accumulated wisdom of our entire industry, organized in this very specific way.
So the team that has spent years structuring its own data, its workflows, its expertise, that's the team that gets the better output.
That is the core of it. And good context leads to better outputs, which you then use to refine your context for the next run. It's a self-reinforcing loop.
A virtuous cycle, which means the value is shifting from the ability to do something to the ability to define what needs to be done.
That's the managerial revolution right there. The cost of execution is approaching zero, AI is just too fast. We, the humans, are now the bottleneck.
But hold on, does that mean the deciding founder is just an executive who doesn't really understand how the new system works anymore?
That's a real risk.
Mm.
No, it doesn't mean detachment. It means founders have to become systems architects, orchestrators.
Right.
They define the system, they check the inputs, they make sure the strategy is sound. The human has to get the strategy right.
And if everyone can execute quickly and cheaply, then the old value proposition for most SaaS companies, we're faster than doing it manually.
That's completely commoditized now.
Yeah, a $20 a month AI tool can match your basic feature.
Right. When that happens, when capabilities are a commodity, retention all comes down to one thing.
Trust.
Trust. Users stick with products they implicitly trust. It becomes the only real retention strategy left.
Okay, so if trust is the new moat, how do you build it when the old ways of reaching people, the old distribution channels, are, well, kind of broken?
They are really falling apart. I mean, traditional SEO is just suffering from what people are calling AI slop.
AI slop. I love that. What does that actually mean?
It's just this massive flood of low-quality, repetitive, often inaccurate junk that's generated by algorithms. It's drowning out real information.
So it's harder to find anything credible.
Much harder. And at the same time, paid search costs are through the roof. And corporate social media gets zero traction. The old levers are just broken.
So what's actually working for founders right now? Say someone trying to get to that first 10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We found a few things that seem to be clicking.
And are all high-touch, high-authenticity plays. First, forget the big blog campaigns. Focus on Reddit.
Really?
Yes, but you have to do it right. Build credibility in a niche community first. Share real stories. And only embed links where it actually makes sense. We're seeing founders get thousands in revenue from a single good post.
It's a return to being a member of a community, not just a marketer.
Precisely. The second tactic is using visual platforms.
Yeah.
Think TikTok, Instagram slideshows, using AI-generated images and really short, punchy text. It's all about grabbing attention and building awareness, not hard selling.
And the third one sounds like the most work, but maybe the most effective.
Targeted DMs, yes. In specific Discord servers, Slack groups, Reddit communities, we've seen founders converting 10, even 25% of prospects this way. Wow. But the key is you have to provide tactical help first. You shift the dynamic from a sales pitch to a consultation. You diagnose their problem, then you offer your product as a solution. That's how you build that trust we were talking about.
That's real founder wisdom. And speaking of that, let's pull back and look at the lessons from founders who failed, like 20 times before they succeeded. It all kind of boils down to a few key rules.
You have to internalize these if you're building. First, validate demand early. Don't build something just because you think it's cool. Second, prioritize users over your own ego.
Ship fast with small teams.
And, maybe the most important one right now, price higher.
That one feels counterintuitive. If building is cheaper, why price higher?
Because founders often price from a place of desperation. They just want any customer. But higher prices fund the support and development you need to build that trust moat. Cheap pricing just signals you're a commodity, and that's where AI will eat you.
That all leads to taking better advice, right? Because everyone has an opinion on AI right now.
And most of it is about the solution. But you shouldn't ask for the solution. You should ask for the diagnosis, the root problem.
Because the problems are more consistent than the solutions.
Exactly. The practical tip is find 4 people who have actually done what you're trying to do. Write a one-pager on your situation and ask them very specific questions about why things are failing, not how to fix them.
That preparation is everything. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. A reality check on capital and the market. You can't ignore a 16 Zaz raising $15 billion. That's nearly a fifth of all U.S. venture capital last year.
It just confirms how serious this shift is. Their whole thesis is that America's tech leadership depends on winning in AI and crypto. They're funding foundational tech. This isn't just a casual bet.
It's a national security bet, in a way.
It is.
And while that money is flowing into new things, what about the existing unicorns, the ones from the 2021 hype cycle?
Oof. Yeah, that was a wake-up call.
There's a stat that was just shocking.
Only 5% of unicorns are above 300 million in ARR and have a Rule of 40-plus score.
Which leaves the other 95% as, what, zombies?
Effectively, yeah, zombie unicorns.
We should probably pause there. For anyone listening, what is the Rule of 40?
It's a quick health check. Your company's growth rate plus its profit margin has to be 40% or more. It's a measure of sustainable scaling.
And only 5% of the most valuable private companies meet that. The market is seriously bloated.
Extremely. And for that tiny percentage that are on a real path to an IPO, the work is intense.
I heard planning starts 18 to 24 months out.
It has to. And the number one reason for delays isn't the market or the product. It's accounting issues.
The spreadsheets will get you in the end.
The spreadsheets are the final boss. It's a brutal reality check. And, this is the vocal technologist here, just reminding you that speed is pretty unforgiving.
Which brings up the need for that critical self-diagnosis. I think the most common mistake is misdiagnosing a product market fit problem as a sales problem.
Happens all the time. PMF, product market fit. A founder hires a big sales team, the product still doesn't sell, and they can't figure out why. The key is you have to establish force before you worry about fit.
Force and fit. I like that. Define force.
Force is independent demand. It means that even before you show up, customers are actively looking for a solution. The existing options aren't good enough. They're hacking together spreadsheets or paying a fortune for some clunky service. That's the force.
And only if that force exists, if that pain is real, then your specific product's fit even matters.
Exactly. If you don't have that underlying force, no sales team on earth is going to save you. It's a market problem, not a sales problem.
And when you look at the really big failures, the same mistakes just keep showing up, don't they?
Over and over. Scott Fearon's list is great on this. Companies fail when they rely on old strategies, misread their customers, get caught up in hype, and when leadership becomes detached from what's actually happening on the ground.
And AI just makes all of those flaws fatal, faster.
Instantly fatal.
So what does this all mean for you if you're the one building something?
I think the central tension is clear. Building softwares is easier than ever, but success now hinges on these very human skills: trust, orchestration, and just ruthless self-diagnosis.
And if we connect this to the really big picture, think about what I'd call the physical AI deployment gap.
Physical AI.
Robots, autonomous systems, smart infrastructure. This could be the biggest market in human history, but right now it's totally stalled. Why? I mean, the models are getting so good.
Because reliability in the real world is a whole different beast. A robot that works 95% of the time in a clean lab that might drop to 60% on a chaotic factory floor. And for production, you need 99.9%.
Give us a concrete example of what that failure means.
Okay, a self-driving forklift in a warehouse. If it works 95% of the time, that means it fails 50 times in a normal shift.
50 times.
Each time, a human has to stop what they're doing, go over, debug it, and restart the whole process.
Yeah.
It completely negates the entire ROI. That little gap between the lab and the real world is enormous and incredibly expensive.
So it's not just an engineering problem, it's a massive economic roadblock.
It is. And the consensus is that this gap won't be closed by just better research.
Right.
It's going to require completely new infrastructure and tooling that just doesn't exist yet.
So here's the final thought for you to chew on. The next wave of wealth isn't in the research, it's in the infrastructure that makes the research reliable. So where are you seeing those infrastructure gaps that need to be solved to unlock these massive physical AI markets? That is where the next generation of foundational companies is going to be built. That is a brilliant question to end on. It's not about the idea, it's about the hard work of making it actually function. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the new Founder Blueprint. We'll talk to you next time.
Spoken Tech for your ears.